Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Have you missed us? We're back, we're back. I am Kel,
I'm Quincella.
and this is Recipe to Chivalry. Thank you guys so much. Say what?
Now I'm moving the hat back, get the shadow out my face.
All right, so we thank you guys for joining us. I know you missed us a couple of Sundays. We had some things going on, but nevertheless, we are back. And now, let me see if you can see this up here. And the question for the day is, trying to get the show up here. Give me 1 second. What's going on up here? I don't even see it. All right, there it is. Oh, I got to edit that because that's wrong. That's wrong all day long. All righty. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. All right. So the question for today is, should women marry young or wait? Should women marry young or wait? And we don't have no audience at the moment, so we're waiting. But in the meanwhile, what is your take?
I think they should wait.
You think they should wait?
A little bit. And you know, this is a trick question because marrying young is not a bad thing. I think it's most definitely an individual, based on the individual, and where they're at and what their maturity level is like. I think there's a lot of factors that go into that.
So why do you say they should wait? Outside of the individual thing, why do you say on the majority side they should wait?
I didn't say on the majority side. Are you asking me on the majority side? Well, that's not what I said.
What you said was you think they should wait.
Yes,
but it is individually based. I said
right.
remove the individual base.
And you want me to go with the majority?
For the majority of why you think women should wait.
I feel like a woman should have her own money. We're talking about education. I just think that there is a number of things that should be in place before getting married. Try and figure out if you're any good at finances, living on your own, handling those type of things before, taking on a family. Are you responsible financially? What does that look like for you? Do you have any goals in place? And if you have goals, will those goals be sacrificed because you get married and you have children? And if so, then maybe wait and handle those. There may be some things that you may want to tackle before actually getting married.
So is there a time frame with that?
There isn't a time frame.
Okay.
Should there be a rush to be married?
In my opinion, I think women should get married young.
Why is that?
I think.
Okay, go ahead.
This is my opinion. I think the more you wait, the more things biologically could happen. More things start to take effect. Not that it could, but statistics show there's the decline.
Okay, that's just biologically. So you said for baby making purposes, basically, is your reasoning why women should get married?
That's not what I said. But that's one of the.
But that is what you brought up.
That's one of the reasons. I don't know why I'm not being allowed to talk here, but
okay,
that's one of the reasons. Yes, biological tick-tock. That is one of the things. Another is outside of the biological clock. If you're waiting to do all those things, which is not a bad thing, waiting financial wealth to be accomplished, goal, definitely if you have orientation that you're trying to put in place. In the meantime, yeah, I think that's a good thing. But also, I say with all those things, how long do you wait? Because outside of the biological clock, are you dating in the dating pool? What are you doing in that dating pool? Because that can lead to other things that may throw a wrench in a lot of things that I guess we'll get into. Um, but that's one of them. So I think it's a multitude of things.
You absolutely said nothing. Like what things?
Well,
And what are we
y'all have to
getting into
forgive
later?
us right now because this. But anyway, I said a lot. I said we can get into this a little later
Why are we getting into later? We're
because
talking.
I want to get an audience here, not just
And
go
what if we
through.
don't get one and
Then
it's
we,
just
then
me
we,
and you?
then we'll
So
get into it.
okay, so
We'll
let's
get
just
into it.
have the conversation and not wait on the audience.
Okay, let's have the conversation. So we'll go with the biological clock since you threw that out there, right? So some of the stuff that I pulled up earlier says after 35 increases the risk of certain pregnancy or complications. So we're talking about the biological TikTok, right? So complications for both mother and baby. So both mother and baby
After the age of
after
35
the age of
and 35 and older.
could have some things, right? So
Okay.
when I asked the question earlier, was there a time frame? It was no. So if you have other goal orientations in place, let's say you're going to be a doctor, that takes time. That takes a lot of time. So you can be close. You can be getting closer and closer to that age. And this is just the one factor that I'm talking about. So you read up on it. Talks about miscarriages, get gestational diabetes, chromosomal abnormalities, a lot of stuff like Down syndrome. A lot of those things can play like high blood pressure, premature birth. A lot of these things can take place and start to become more of a risk factor the older the woman gets. That's just one part of it. I'll give you a moment to speak your part on the side that you were talking about.
So you brought up being 35 and older and the risks that come involved with that. So my question to you is, you already said that you do think that a woman should get married young. What is that optimum age? What does that look like?
I won't say an optimum age, but
I,
when I'm looking at the statistics, definitely before you start getting to your late 30s. Because again, some of these complications that I'm just dealing from one aspect of it, and that's the scientific aspect of the body, hormones, and all that things that could play. If you're one of those, or that's wanting to engage in building a family, having kids. Now outside of that, what I was trying to wait on to get into was the other side of it is the dating pool. So in the meantime, I thought I turned this down, but anyway, in the meantime, with you getting all these things in place, whether it's financial, whether it's education, trying to figure out if you can handle those things, relationship wise, how are you carrying your relationship aspect of it? And the reason why I bring age into it, because if you're playing the field, so to speak, this is where I think sometimes the longevity of being out there, quote unquote, this is where bad baggage or bad relationships could start to build some kind of wall. The way you kind of see your outlook on things and how you carry it into the next relationship when you get out there, maybe looking into marriage.
okay. When you was talking earlier, you was bringing up that, you know, if we have a person or a woman or whatever, if she was trying to become a doctor, look that up. Statistically, it takes anywhere from about 10 to 14 years for that,
Mhm.
right? So we're talking about somebody straight out of high school.
Mhm.
What's the average age? About 18, give or take, 17, 18. So within that time, if they're seriously pursuing that, then I guess the dating aspect of it isn't much there, depending on um, their load of pursuing it. Not saying that there isn't any downtime. So I would think that on the dating part of it, if it is, it's just for social purposes at this point. Because again, what we're trying to the end goal is to get the degree. So I don't in my head, and if that was me, then the dating part of it is probably the least of what that's not my goal right now. That's not as important to me. So getting out there and dating isn't it's getting through this degree so that okay, at the end of this, then I'll worry about the having a serious relationship and being in a relationship. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Yes and no. So what you're talking about at the end of it, you said serious. To me, that's different. So when I say dating, I'm not talking about whether it's serious. I'm talking about dating. Period. So
And that's what I'm saying.
I don't
There
think
isn't any.
I don't think a whole lot of people um, are not dating because they're so ingrained in their um, education or trying to pursue this. So I'm not saying there's not any, but to be dating, period. So my question or what I was getting to is you're out there dating, whether it's serious or not, you're dating. So in that time frame,
You want to know what their numbers are like.
what numbers?
As far as them dating,
No, I don't want to know what their numbers are like. I don't want to know what their numbers are like.
so
What I'm saying is when you're in that position and you're at the young age, and like she said, we use the example of being a doctor. And she said that when she looked it up, it said 14 years. So now you're into your 30s, right? And we did on the biological side some of the complications. I didn't read through all of them, but some of the other complications are when you wait that long to get into a relationship or marriage or having kids, because I said relationship, but having kids, this could be an issue, right? So now let's pull it back to instead of the dating, I mean the kids part. Let's just say dating, period. So my question was, what are you doing in the mean? How is your dating, your love life going, so to speak? So when I look at it as dating young, I mean getting married young, the part that I was trying to get to was if you start dating young and you're not looking at getting married, you can have a bunch of relationships that can develop, whether you have children, whether you have emotional damage from bad relationships that can carry over.
okay, and that's not necessarily true.
What do you mean?
Because you're saying that there could be
So it's not true that can happen?
No, I feel like as far as if you're dating right now, you know you're not trying to get married, then I think there should be some vices put in place. So you should be practicing safe sex if that is not the goal. If you're just dating right now and it's not for marriage and you're out there and you're in the dating game, and if you're one of those people that's definitely, and I ain't condoning anybody that's going to do whatever, but if you're going to be dating, then you should be having, and if you're going to engage sexually with somebody, then we ought to be having protected sex to keep from having, these children, and like you said, and then later on it doesn't go right. Now there's an emotional scar, and there's emotional and there's baggage.
So let me ask you this then. what form of safe sex is 100%?
No, there's absolutely
Okay.
no sex. It's
Okay.
probably the best sex. Is
Okay.
what I'm saying. I mean,
Okay, so
yeah.
from that standpoint,
So basically, you're trying to.
what I'm saying is anything can happen.
Right, absolutely. But
So you can be headstrong and focus on this career. But my question that I was getting to is your sex life. And what I mean by sex life, I don't mean just randomly having sex. I mean you're dating. So if you're dating but you're having sex, right? And like I tried to make the difference between casual dating and serious dating. So now let's put this scenario out there. You're a driven young lady who's focused on becoming a doctor, and you're casually dating different men, right?
mm-hmm.
Like she said, you should be having protected sex, but anything could happen because there's no such thing as 100% safe sex unless you're abstaining from it, right?
Exactly, and that's going to be my next thing. What, you know, I could be dating, but not dating without being sexual, just for partnership.
Yes, I'm not saying you can't.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that's what I asked the question. How is your your love life going? Are you one of those who are casually dating and casually having sex? Because if you're doing that and you're trying to wait to get married and you're living that kind of lifestyle, now you can bring other things other than the biological clock that we talked about. Now you can bring other things into it, and that's a factor of now you're having other kids out of wedlock.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So now that you're doing that, you've done that. Let's say you had one. Let's just go with one. You have one kid out of wedlock, and you're still waiting till you finish your doctoral degree. Well, when that happens, and now you've gotten your doctoral degree, age and that you have a child play a huge factor in the pool and category you fall in, that now you're looking for a serious relationship. And I know a lot of you probably disagree, but your worth kind of declines because of that.
Because of the one child. Okay, what about?
Because of a multitude of things, not just the one child, the age, the child. Because remember, I said I wasn't focused on the clock, but now your clock is ticking.
So you're telling me,
and now you've reached 35. What if there's a man? So you're 35.
Mm-hmm.
You have a child already out of wedlock. You meet a young man, or you not even so young, you meet a man, period, that wants to date you exclusively, and he wants to get married, and he wants to have more children. I just wanted to, but your clock is ticking now. That's a fact.
Yeah, it is, but also so is y'all's. Having y'all even having a child after 30, y'all the chances of that decreases. So you're also in a pool, because there's no guarantee that even at that age you can even give me a child because of your sperm count.
The sperm count decreases.
Yeah, your sperm count decreases. Right, it decreases. So that does makes it a lot harder. So I think on that end for both of them, I think at that age that there are some risk factors having children after the age of 30. But the same way you're putting me in a pool because I'm a woman and I have this one child because of the way that the men think, and you know, and your worth. What if we have a woman that, okay, she was just casually dating, no sex, but she was driven, you know, school, got a degree, and now, you know, at the age of 32, whatever, I'm ready, you know, to get married.
So she will fall in a different pool. Her worth would be a little more than the other woman.
So you're just saying because of the child, that one child, hers decreases some.
So if you have if you have 10 men, I'm just trying to do it on a small scale. You have 10 men,
right?
And it's one, and these 2 women, and one is the one that's 35 with the child,
mm-hmm.
had the doctorate degree. The other one is 35 with no children,
mm-hmm.
and have the doctoral degree. Within them 10 men, If 5 of them don't want to deal with the woman with the
children,
child,
right?
so she falls into a lower pool.
You're absolutely
So
right.
that's what I mean. I'm not trying to belittle anybody. I'm just saying the pool that you get put in, the worth to other men,
Yeah, because there are some
slightly
men
starts to
that don't want
decrease.
to raise
Other
other
men's
men's
children.
children,
So based on
or they just want somebody that has just their children, and
so
that's it.
based on that factor, your worth to a not. I'm saying you're not worth anything. I'm saying from a man's standpoint, looking at you as a potential permanent mate, the value. Maybe I should say it that way. That the value to them starts to decrease. You already have a child. You're already 35. I want to have 6 children. It's probably kind of out of the question trying to have 6 children with you and you're already 35.
Right, and that may be a thing where she doesn't want children at.
Yeah,
so he falls into a whole different pool for her too, because that's not a factor.
Yeah, so when we're trying to go apples to apples, we can do this. Let's go apples to apples. Women, your pool of picking men, it's not as big as you think it is. Men picking women, their pool is much larger, just depending upon what they want or don't want. Because we see things and we value things a little different. Like we talk about, and we bring this up all the time. We talk about body count. We talk about body count.
Hit the button on it. Apparently,
so we talk about body count. Unfortunately, the way things are, sometimes that will devalue a woman's value to a man. Because if you're young and you've sat here and dated all these men and slept with all these men are going to typically look at you different.
Okay, I have a question for you. Mm-hmm. So what is the benefit of a woman marrying young to a man?
To me, it would be value, less potential for some of these. We talk about the biological side.
Okay.
Less potential. The potential more to create a bigger family, if that's
but that's a value to the man. That doesn't benefit the woman. Right. So again, you didn't answer my question. What is the benefit for the women to marry the man or that young? There's no benefit for her more than to produce children.
To be in a higher value of other men. So we talked about this before, right? Remember before we talked about how some women jump out there and say, hey, yeah, they want this man to have all this money, right? Mm-hmm. And be able to take care of them. So then we put that up. We put them up and say, okay, that's what you want. There's nothing wrong with that. But how do you stack up versus other women that want that too? Now with that man, let's say he make millions and millions of dollars. We've been talking about this before. The woman that's 35 with the child versus the woman that's 35 without the child versus the woman that's in her early 20s without a child. And we could throw another one in there in her early 20s with the child.
Okay.
All their values different to that man. If that man's idea is a large family, he's probably going to go with the younger lady that doesn't have a child, depending on if he's okay with raising someone else's child or not.
Okay.
Well, with the older woman that's in her 35 with a child, he's probably not going to value her as high because of her age. And because that she has that one child. So he's going to value all 4 of them differently, depending upon what he wants. And again, we talked about it. So now when we say with that woman saying you want that man, there's certain thing that comes with that type of man. And a lot of times we see it as controlling. It's not a controlling thing. It's submissive. And If he's that type of earner and figure, there's certain things, a certain way he wants things, especially when you get into an older man and set in his ways. So again, I'm talking about the value. Go ahead.
Okay. It just sounds like to me that because all we've hit on so far, and the only thing you've really brought up is that basically the woman should get married early in order to be in order to reproduce for this man. I said what we've brought up so far. I'm trying to just summarize where we're at so far. I'm just trying to get.
Okay.
I'm just trying to put this where we're at right now. She should get married for that purposes, health wise, also getting married young and being in that pool puts her at a higher, it may, because I don't feel like it actually does, because marrying at the age of 20 and you haven't experienced anything in her life, unless you're a man that is really trying to get somebody you can control that doesn't have any life experiences. I mean, she's 20 years old. 18 years. Well, no, I mean, she's a clean slate. She can be molded to what he wants.
It could be
what that looks like.
It could be molded to what they want.
Yeah, it depends. At 18, it just kind of reminds me of like with my grandmother and all, when they married young women off at the age of 15 to like 30 and 40-year-old men, I'm just feeling like a little bit of color purple, like you just need somebody to wash and clean and to make babies and to take care of their house. Because a lot of them were older men. They needed somebody to take care of the house, to take care of kids, to have children.
Wait, hold on, let me ask a question. So you said a lot of them were older men.
Yeah, so with young women.
They couldn't take care of the house?
Yeah.
So they couldn't take care of the house.
Apparently, they ain't want to wash no dishes. They ain't want to. What man you seen back there washing dishes, washing their clothes, and doing their own stuff? No, they got them young girls for that stuff, and to have them babies for them. They didn't.
I think they were both to other things,
like what?
Longevity, like you said, the youthfulness. Not just to cook and clean. I think that's where a lot of women get hung up on. Is they feel like it's some kind of controlling aspect to mold them to this.
Okay, so what is it really? Because I'm not understanding exactly what is the purpose of marrying young.
So what is the purpose
besides reproducing?
What is the purpose of not marrying young besides?
And then my thing, what does because young to me
Can you answer that?
Huh?
What is the purpose for not doing it?
Right away?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very important. There's a whole big world out there.
Mm-hmm.
They get out there, I think, and it can be a trap, or it can. Lisa sent her the link. I thought you sent it to her.
We didn't send no link.
I think it can be a real big trap. Both ways. There's a whole big world. There are things that should be experienced. If you're getting married straight out of high school, that means you're leaving your mother's house. So you left the protection of your mother and your parents, and now you are venturing out, into the world. How do you know if anything happens to this person that you marry today or tomorrow that you can survive on your own? What if you do one of those that do get married young, and then something happens to your spouse and you've never lived on your own? You've depended on this one person to do every single thing for you financially, like we normally do. And I can pull it. You ain't even got to do it. You ain't got to do it. Financially or whatever. Now you got to try and figure it out, because you've never paid a bill. You've never. No, send it to me. Ain't you sending it?
You telling me not to. I don't know what you're
Just send it to Kellen the Piterakian recipients. You've never paid a bill. You've never done anything because you've depended on this man, this person, to do every single thing. The only thing you had to do was care for the house and take care of babies. Now what? And that's my part as far as being.
So it sounds like you're saying there could be no growth that you learn these things while you're starting out that young, because you can't. I only see you bringing up that one aspect as if when you get married young and you're there, you're just this poor innocent blank canvas that you don't learn anything, you don't grow together.
I didn't say you didn't learn anything.
You said
I said financially.
So financially, you marry someone that has finances.
Yeah, but exactly, he has finances. So what if you're not the one managing it because he makes it, so he's managing that, right? You're there, all you're doing is you're at home taking care of these children.
So you make it seem like you can
okay,
sit
so
there, that's it.
You can learn.
Apparently, you can learn. No, it's not
learn
apparent.
to do what?
You can learn to manage money. He can teach you.
He could.
So your argument is 50-50 because you're saying what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens?
But isn't that what we're talking about?
Which can happen. But the flip side of that is you can be taught and prepared for those things. You absolutely can.
Okay, but realistically. Okay, how many in this day and age, how many men are there out there that really want somebody that doesn't know anything about like maybe basic finances, doesn't know maybe how to I forgot. Y'all have to excuse me for a minute.
Okay. All right, so give us a second. So I'm gonna keep going right here on this platform. So from what she's saying is you get into this relationship being young, you're not going to learn anything. You're not going to know how to do this. You're not going to have to learn how to do that. This man passes and now you're out on the island all by yourself. Could that happen? Absolutely. Could just the opposite happen where you're taught everything? He shows you how he got there, shows you how to maintain everything just in case he goes away from here. And when he does, you're okay. Could that happen? Absolutely. So where's the argument? Let's see. I got somebody here. Oh, what up? What up, V? Long time no see.
Hey.
Hey.
So hey.
I happen to hear any of this conversation going on. The question is, should a woman marry young or wait? Quintella's stance was she should wait because of finances, trying to get your finances together, education-wise. If you have some goals that you got set in place, accomplish those first. And I said, okay, those things are valid points. I think a woman should get married young. One of the reasons why I brought up was the biological clock. At 35, things start to be on the decline. The other point I brought up was I wanted to know what was the dating aspect like of that person. Because if you're out there dating, like we brought up a scenario of someone going to school to become a doctor. She looked it up and said the average time span was 14 years. So someone that's just graduating high school, you're now in your 30s, right? So you're getting close to that biological side of the decline that we're talking about. So my other question was, within that whole time frame, what is your dating life like? Are you casually dating? Are you having sex while you're casually dating? Because those two things, those two questions, one, casually dating, now you're starting to build up emotional, could be emotional trauma from failed relationships. Also, if you're having sex during these casual relationships, children can come into play.
Hit the button on your thing so you don't hear your notifications.
I can just turn this one off.
Hey, babe.
Hey, twin.
So those aspects could come into play. And like she was saying, hey, well, if you're out here casually dating, you should be having
Protected sex,
protected sex,
hopefully.
And I was like, yes, absolutely, but there's no such thing as 100% protected sex. So
Unless you're not having
things
any.
things can happen unless you're practicing abstinence. Things can absolutely happen. So with that being said, that was my point was if those things come into play, the three aspects, um, the age and the biological decline, and like she brought up, it happens in men too, but that's the decline age-wise, the maybe emotional baggage from failed relationships, and maybe having children out of wedlock. And I said, with that time frame now, all that can be brought in, which now could be an issue because you start to fall in certain pools and categories when it comes to the value of a man looking at you as a potential lifetime mate. I don't know if that was a lot to take in, but at any time you need me to state it, by all means.
Nope, I got it. You was very thorough. um, I can see both sides. Um, I absolutely think that accomplishing goals are important. And I absolutely feel that, the biological clock is important as well. I think that I think that I definitely believe that you can do both. If you meet somebody that um is on the same path as you, like if you know that you have a 10-year plan, you want to, if you're starting out as a cashier and in that 10-year plan you want to move up to general manager of a store, and you have somebody, your person that you're with, they have like a likewise 10-year plan, then I think that it's okay with getting married as long as you both are committed to that 10-year plan. Now with sex being involved, um yes, the only surefire way to prevent children is abstinence. um but I think you have to take extreme caution to make sure that kids don't become involved, because I 100% do believe that you should wait to have kids until you've accomplished what you want to accomplish, until y'all have had a chance to really date each other and enjoy, like just being with each other, like perfect that relationship first, before bringing kids into it. So I think that it definitely could happen, but it has to be with the right person that's going to have their goals and you have your goals, and y'all can work on the goals together. So I think it just comes down to choosing your mate, you know what I mean, like wisely, and making sure y'all both committed to the 5-year plan or the 10-year plan.
Absolutely. Good spoken, and it leads right into my point. So my point is this, right? With that being said, excuse me, one time, you definitely have to pick your mate. Because like you said, if you have a 10-year plan and he has a 10-year plan, it has to be in line with what he wants. And I don't mean to exclude her, but he has to be willing to say, by the time our 10-year plan is come to its fruition, she's much older. So maybe he's in line with not having a large family. That, hey, it's not very healthy for her to have like 5 kids now in every 3 years because she's much older. Now we got this 10-year plan out the way. So yes, it does really depend on you selecting your mate properly. So with that being said, again, to me, it puts you in a certain pool of men, your value to them. Because again, let's say this man, this one man, that whole scenario you just spilled, right? This one man, let's say he's a millionaire, and he says, "Oh, I want 10 kids." And you have a 10-year plan. So when your 10-year plan is up, he can't have those 10 kids. And it's not a degrading to you, but you fall out of his pool of what he values because you can't give him the 10 kids because it's not
And I think that would be okay because that means maybe she doesn't want 10 kids either. So
Yes.
he doesn't fall in her category as well.
You're absolutely right. And that's why we said picking it
Picking
properly.
right.
So then so here we go again. When I said when we try to compare apples to apples, our men pool is much larger to pick from than women. Do you agree with that or no?
I don't want to agree with that, but unfortunately, I do agree with that. And because I think that, and it should be for both sides, but I think that as women mature, as we get older, as we experience things, we're looking for a certain type of man, and the type of man that we're looking for, the pool is small.
Yes,
And if
absolutely.
if you get to a point where you're like, I'm not settling, is this or nothing, then yes, absolutely. The pool is small. I mean, like I said, unfortunately, I don't want to agree, but that's just the way it is.
And that's my
Pool is going
point.
to be smaller.
And that's my point. That's my point. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying it's right. But what I'm saying is realistically, men pool, it's much larger. Because I guarantee you, the women of your caliber, my wife's caliber, if we put 20 of them together, and I did a panel with 20 women, and I asked them, here's a man that only makes $10,000 a year. He works part-time at McDonald's. Could you see yourself in a long-lasting relationship with him? The majority of them would probably say no, just based off of that one aspect. But I flipped the script and asked the men, you had a woman that made $10,000 a year, worked part-time at McDonald's, could you see yourself with that woman? And the majority of them would say yes, depending on a few other aspects. That's what makes our pool so large. So again, when I talk about value-wise, and I talk about the age, and that's why I asked the question of the relationship, what is that like? Are you following that in your plan? Practicing abstinence. Not saying you have to, but are you? Because if you're not, you're putting yourself at risk of falling into a smaller pool. Because that's why they got this thing called Plan B. Because it happens all the time where they go, this wasn't part of the plan. I made a mistake. Let me start all over again.
Right. So
that happens. But things happen. And if you fall and slip and have a child, I'm not saying you should be, I'm nobody. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you now fall into a category of a man that has to be saying that aspect of what he wants. And if he's a high value man, that part doesn't bother him. He's okay with the woman that has a child. Or he's okay with the woman that has a child and now is in her 35 and maybe only to get able to give me one more child. So you fall into another small pool. And men, like I said, their pool is large because they could probably take a woman. Most of them can take a woman that really doesn't have a whole lot going on, just has the aesthetics of looking good, behave the way, like you said, controlling. That could be an aspect. Hey, when I say move, you move just like that. That makes a pool so large because there's a multitude of that. Be like, I'm going to do exactly that because I don't have to lift a muscle. I don't have to do anything. I don't have anything. And he has. So that's why I say when I brought that up is
Excuse me.
that was my questioning, that I'm not devaluing women, period. I'm just saying your pool is not as large as ours. And sometimes by default, you lower yourself into that pool when those aspects of life take place.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
So that's why my stance was I think women should get married early. They lessen some of that. And like she was saying, so what happens if you get in there and you don't know anything financially? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I get that. That would be kind of tragic. You get into
To
a relationship.
marriage, right? You may be 2 years in or whatever, and you straight out of high school or whatever, and you still getting your feet wet and trying to figure out something, and then something happens to this man who has been taking care of everything. You haven't learned, you haven't had any life experiences really, no more than being dependent on this person.
Right. So with that, I said, can that happen? Absolutely. But the flip side of that can happen too. That you get into it, and this man preps you to keep going,
right? And
once he's not here. So it can,
right,
that's that
depends,
50-50.
right? And it depends again, like we were saying, that on the type of partner that you choose. Do you choose a partner based off of what they have and that's it, or are you choosing somebody who's really trying to build a life with you? You're trying to grow together in that life, and like Martha was saying, with the 10-year plan or the 5-year plan, we're going to do this, we're doing this, we're learning and growing together. And like I said, I don't have a problem with marrying young or older. It's just, what does that look like for each individual? It looks different.
I totally agree with that.
And how they go about managing that looks different.
I agree with that. I mean, I don't have no rebuttals with that.
So waiting or not waiting is never the real question, I feel like.
I think it is. I think whether you wait or you go ahead and do it young is the question. And it is the question because then you have factors that go into that, and those factors play against.
But I mean, yeah, they're playing against my biological clock, maybe, but for the most part, that's all you've really said.
That's not all I.
I know, but that's been the biggest part of it.
No, it's not.
Yeah, yes.
No, it's not.
Okay.
I said biological clock. We can put that to the side. I talked about emotional damage.
Right.
Wait. You said that's all I said for the most part. Let me finish. So emotional damage because you're dating multiple men, and these multiple men, because it wasn't the one, you now had bad relationships. And that could carry over into when you finally decide, hey, or you finally find this one, he's the one, the emotional baggage is there. Then the other part I said that is the child side.
Okay, yeah, and I hear that, but can I just say, we're going apples to apples and all of that. You act as if when men are dating, because there are men that have dated and emotionally damaged also.
I didn't say a word.
I know, but you're harping on, us as the women and all of that stuff. It could be the same way. And yes, I understand that our pool is a lot smaller, and I understand that it's just the way of the world. Men are willing to take less in order to get what they really want, whereas women are not willing to take less. Their standards are a little higher, so we're not settling where y'all would settle.
I disagree with that statement. Go ahead.
That you're settling?
Yeah, I disagree with that totally.
Because you're saying did you not just make the did you not just say that you got somebody making 10 grand? Woman ain't settling for that, but a man will settle for that.
I disagree with your statement, but go ahead. So because let's say, okay.
Wait, can I chime in?
Go ahead. Come on, V.
So I I feel like I don't I don't think that necessarily a man would settle for a woman that makes $10,000. I think that the money aspect to a man is not as big of a deal for them as it is for us. And I think is that way because
Bingo.
a man is naturally supposed to be a provider.
Bingo.
Supposed to provide for his wife and the family. So a
Bingo.
woman that's making $10,000 is like, okay, well, that's no big deal. Like,
Bingo.
I'm going to take care of everything regardless. So I think that that's the aspect that he's talking about when he's saying it's not really settling, because for him, how much money a woman make doesn't matter to him, because he's going to take care of it regardless. But he might want you to do all the cooking and cleaning. He might want you to do other things, but he don't really care about the money.
Right.
Whereas for us, we're genuinely not going to be with somebody that makes $10,000, because then that puts us as being the breadwinner, the provider, and we're not going to settle for that. Like, we desire a man not to really even have to make more money than us, but at least have to be on the same playing field. So I think that that's the difference.
Well, I brought
Right.
that up earlier when I
So-
talked about, like, with my grandparents, and I was saying back in the day when they married the girls young, basically, they needed somebody to take care of the house, and that they did everything else financially. And
I said, so you said they can't clean the house themselves.
yeah,
I said it wasn't just for that purpose. I said it was for longevity too. They married him younger because they could have more kids in a longer period of time.
right. And also
So
to
it wasn't
maintain it was
just
about the cooking and cleaning too, because they was not taking care of that. That's
I'm not-
what
I'm
they
not- I'm
wanted
not
the
saying that's
woman to
not-
do. Their job was basically just to provide.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
But
Okay.
again,
Okay. So it wasn't, but now it is.
no,
Okay.
because I think because then it was more of a family thing, and they could build a larger family. Now we're seeing these micro families. We're not seeing large families anymore. So the men did get younger women because they could have multiple children, children after children after children, right? So now there's a reason why I agree or disagree with your statement so bad, because the way you stated it, you might not have meant it that way, but the way you stated it was women have standards, high standards, and men don't.
No, I never
No,
said that.
no. You never said it verbatim,
Never
but the
said
way
that.
you said it was women have standards, and we're not settling. Where men settle. So basically, in layman's terms, that's what you said, is that y'all have high standards and men don't, and that's why I say I disagree. Like Vonda put it, I agree with her totally. It's not that we don't have standards. Some things we don't value as much. We don't put as much value or emphasis on it. You making no money.
So what is it that y'all value besides having a woman with a low body count?
It depends. It depends on the man. So that is important. So to most men, that is very important, because you ever heard the term "sheep for the streets"? So when you see a woman that has a huge body count, most men write her off as being a forever mate, because we say she's for the streets. She's ran through. Well, typically when we flip the coin again, I tell you, go apples to apples. You hit men, or he's a dog. But they would still be with that man regardless of him having that large body count. And that's why I say I didn't say it's right. I didn't say it was fair. I said it's just the way it is. So now when you say standards, again, we don't value what you make as much, and that's not all men, but most men don't value as much what you make, because men typically take on the role as a provider. And that's why we will say the woman that makes 10,000 working at McDonald's, yes, she's still in a priority pool that, yes, we'll take her. Now, her value to that man may start to dwindle some when other things come into factor. Hey, how many kids she has? One. Okay, she may still hold here. She has 5 kids. 5 different men. Her value drops to that man. and men who think the same way he does. Oh, and when I asked her to do this, I asked her, is she real? Is she submissive, or does she? Her value drops even more to that man and the men that think like him, and it keeps going and going and going. Where have you seen? All right, let me ask you both your question. Honest opinion. Do you see more of a man? This man and this woman he's with, she always talking back. Don't value, always disrespectful, loud. Do you see a lot of men put up with that if they're a high value man?
No.
Flip the script. Do you see a lot of women that the men talk down to them, devalue them, control them, but the woman stays and put up with him because he's a high value man? And I'm gonna just put up one aspect: money.
Mm-hmm.
So what? So where am I wrong?
Nobody said you was wrong. We're just
Okay.
showing both sides of it.
So
right or wrong.
you're absolutely right.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. That it depends on the value of what the man wants, and unfortunately, that's the way it is. So when you talk about back in the day, yeah, it wasn't just about cleaning the house. Because I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up. Remember, you brought up the color purple. When Celie came home, wasn't he mad that Celie couldn't cook? And Celie couldn't do this? And Celie couldn't do that? He was hot.
She could cook.
He wanted no.
Yes, she could.
The children said the food. He said
Don't matter. They
wait. He said the food.
what they wanted.
He said nasty.
It wasn't what
He
they
said.
wanted.
He said the food was nasty
Because he was comparing it
can't
to somebody else.
Exactly. You
It
can't
don't
cook.
matter.
It just stop cutting me off. You good. The question was, how did he value her? He took her young. He wanted her to take care of all his kids. When he got her, he said she can't cook, she can't clean. Is that or that was not his word? Was that not his word?
It was almost got him killed though, because
Yeah, it
Billy was fixing to shave Mister.
It almost got him sliced to the throat, but those were his words because he was comparing her to another woman that he held a higher value.
Right.
She was worth more to him, and she wasn't.
Okay. Huh.
And you said I keep bringing up the women. I mean, that's what it was about. Should women marry young or wait? And we probably still on the standoff. I think they should marry young.
And I never said they didn't. I told you.
You said it depends on the
it depends on the individual and the relationship. Like, what does that look like? Because for every individual, it doesn't look the same. It's not going to be the same. What they're trying to accomplish or what they want to do in life may not be the same. Now, do I think it's a good idea to at least, go out there and figure out have a little bit of life experience, especially if you have goals and there are things that you want to accomplish. Learn how to be by yourself. Learn what it is that you want as a woman. That way, when you're going into a relationship with a man, you're able to articulate and and say, okay, this is where I'm at. This is what I like. These are things that I'm interested in. How does that fit into what you're doing? And it has nothing to do with okay, his value or whatever. This is us dating, and you kind of
It's 7 o'clock.
Who you need to, what your partner looks like. You know what type of person you're looking for.
Great point. So here's my rebuttal to that. My rebuttal to that is when you say here's where I am, what does that mean? Because to me that sounds like here's where I am is based off of experiences, right? Am I right or wrong with that?
What, emotionally, probably, physically, probably, a number of things, yeah.
So again, it's based off of past experiences.
Right. And we
So,
talked about that.
right. So I'm saying what I'm saying is young. It's just my rebuttal to what you're saying is you're saying find out what it is to be. Can you reiterate it because I don't want to put.
Well, here's the thing before you even go there. At
Okay.
this day and age right now, there are a lot of girls, even by the time they make 18, 20 years old, that got high body counts.
Absolutely.
So, you know, you're saying, you know, getting them young and, you know, we got them young now where they're having babies young. I remember living next door when I was 16, 17. This girl moved in next door. She was 12, about to turn 13. She had her first baby already.
Can I stop you 1 second? I don't mean to interrupt. But I think that's been going on forever.
Right. But I'm just saying, you know, so again, that's why I said marrying young, like it's an individual thing. Because look at somebody like her. She got out there, started dating or whatever, really, really young. At that age, you don't know who you are. You're still trying to even figure out how to put on a pad correctly. So, you know, there are. I think being as a woman,
is it possible that young and you marry somebody you can't figure things out together?
You probably. I'm not. Yeah, you absolutely could. We did.
That's my rebuttal.
It's not. I mean, it ain't a rebuttal for me. I mean, to me, it's right in my face. We did that together.
And that's my rebuttal. So you said you think you should try to figure out this and figure out that.
But
I'm not saying you can't, but I'm saying you can also, the flip side of that is you also can do that together.
You can, but what I did find out being married and marrying young, that I became, and I've talked about this before, I became so involved in everybody else's life, your life, making sure you're straight, the children. I no longer had an identity. I was wife and mama. I didn't know who Quintella was. Who was Quintella? What does Quintella do? Everything. It was about the children. It was about the family. There was nothing outside of that made me an individual. Each one of y'all had individual things going on. You had your own friends. You had your own likes. You had your own everything. I had none of that.
Okay,
none of that.
Let me. Okay, I want to cut you.
Go ahead.
So, I think yes, you didn't have any of that because where we were. It wasn't just because you were in a marriage at a young age that all of a sudden you just poof it didn't exist, or poof your friends didn't exist anymore. It was demographics that played a lot into that.
Okay, but yeah and no, because yes, our demographics changed, but you got friends still. So you still have friends. You still have friends.
So again, yes, because where I was at, I was around a bunch of different guys that I got to socialize with.
Right.
So now let's play.
And you had me.
Let's play Wheel of Fortune. So let's say we didn't go anywhere. We got married young, and we were still in Brooklyn, New York. Would that be an issue? Would have that been an issue?
No.
And so demographics played a part.
Yeah, but my thing
that's
is,
my point.
Okay, yeah, it did play a part, but my thing is still over the years, it's still, even with demographics and all of that, by then I had to figure out a way through that, is what I'm saying.
I'm not saying you didn't.
So, and even when we was at the other place, I did get a friend. But again, I felt like that friend was out of default. You know what I mean? And even with that friend, there still was no there was no outlet for me. I don't know if that even makes sense.
No, absolutely.
There was no outlet.
But
but my outlets were, or if there was an outlet, it was based around you or the children.
Yes, absolutely.
So again,
I'm not diminishing anything about what I said was, I think a lot of that, because you equated that to being married young, right?
I use that as an example of things that has happened, or my life experience with that.
Absolutely.
All right.
But what I'm saying is a lot of that demographics played a huge part of that also. And
then we know that stuff like that doesn't always have to be demographics. We know some people that get married and then they're isolated.
Yeah, I know, but we were talking about, you brought up your
I know.
personal experience. So I'm
Mhm.
just basing off of that. Is that you're absolutely right. All that did take place, but at the same time, too, demographics played a lot because it wasn't just as if you got married young and we were sitting there, we were still in Brooklyn, New York, and Coachella just disappeared and didn't have a life and didn't have friends, and you're still where you grew up at. That wasn't the case. We were in a whole new place where now you had zero friends, and now I'm there socializing with other men that yes, I did develop some friendships with a couple of them, and you didn't have that outlet. I totally agree with that. But my only statement was demographics played a large part of that. So what I'm saying is growing together. And I said we played Wheel of Fortune and we spin back the clock and we didn't go out of state and we stayed in New York. That part would be totally different because
Yeah, but
you would
then
have had your same outlets. You
no,
would have had
no,
your same friends.
no, it wouldn't have. I mean, well, yeah, it would have. But my thing is, you're trying to just blame it on demographics.
No, I didn't.
You did just use
I didn't blame
demographics.
it all on. I said demographics
Played
played
a huge part, right? Because I was going to say, we here in Virginia, that I think what had to happen was me. There had to be some communication. There had to be some things where I said, wait a minute, hold up. I need an outlet. This is what I need. Okay, for us to be successful in this marriage, for us to continue on, this is what's happening to me. This is what I need to happen. So I had to first communicate and let you know where I was at, what was going on with me. Then I had to figure out, okay, what does that look like for me? And to make that happen so that I have that outlet.
Right. I didn't disagree with that part.
Okay.
So I think I think sometimes we get into where that part played a part, and on my side, it's everything was hunky dory, and that's not the case. Um, and get married young, yeah, I see where you said before how you felt like who are you, what were you. So I ask you this question: what did you discover in that time of having to find yourself? What did you discover from the unmarried Quintella to the married Quintella when you finally found your outlet and all that? What did you discover about yourself and what changed?
A number of things changed. I think who I was as a person, my
What
strength, my ability to navigate through life and to be able to say, okay, if something happens, God forbid, will I be okay? How would I be able to navigate and how would I be able to move throughout this world without, my my other half? I mean,
so in that question, how do you compare that to
because I never had to live on my own. I never had to live on my own. I never had to worry about anything being paid or or the finance part like in the beginning. I didn't have to worry about that. And for me, being in the marriage, I think that became more vibrant. That yes, I have this husband, and now we're having these children. You work at a job where it's dangerous. Stuff can happen.
right.
What if something happens? How do I take care of myself? How do I take care of these children now that we've made together?
So my question again is, you say you make sure I quote you correctly. You saying you kind of lost yourself in the beginning and had to find
like my
yourself.
independence.
So, well, what part of that independence that you had prior to marriage that you had to or find that you didn't have prior to?
Prior to that was different And that's, I think, where the problem is,
Well,
because
that she was a housewife.
Say it again.
She was a housewife when like when y'all got married.
Right.
She wasn't a housewife before. So, you know what I mean? Like before y'all got married, she wasn't a housewife and just, you know what I mean? Like she was working, she was, doing the things. But when y'all got married, she became a housewife. It was just y'all and the kids. Like that was, I think what she's saying is that was her identity. So she didn't have, like the independence that she had prior to, because now her role transitioned into becoming a housewife and taking care of the home. Like that was her, you know what I mean? Like her primary focus.
Was taking care of the home.
And raising kids.
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
Mhm. But I just want to say, how long did y'all know each other before y'all got married?
Known each other since we were 9.
Right. That's why I'm saying it goes back to picking your spouse. Like for, you know what I mean? For y'all to have known each other like since y'all was 9 and go through all the things and grow up and then, you know what I mean, get married young. Like that's a beautiful love story. And I'm so grateful that I get to witness it. But it's a beautiful love story that started at 9.
It
So
was
that
ugly.
that
It was
that just goes back
ugly.
to
It was
spouse, like picking
ugly.
the right spouse.
It was beautiful. It was ugly.
Is it no going through it might have been ugly, but now it is beautiful. Like
No,
when you
so,
first plant something is not beautiful, but when you go through it and watch it grow, it becomes beautiful.
so when you said picking your spouse, right?
Yeah.
How you define that, or what do you think you saw in us as far as picking a spouse?
I mean, because we're talking about, you know what I mean, like getting married young or getting married, you know what I mean, older. And I think that for y'all, it helped that y'all knew each other since 9. So there was still that level of comfort. There was still that level of I know this person. Like sure, we're gonna grow, we're gonna do all the things, have kids, but y'all still, you know what I mean? Y'all still had that level of
We was
comfort because
friends.
of how long y'all knew each other.
And that's what I tell everybody, being friends, I think, helped us.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too, but I think that that also helped make, you know what I mean, like getting married young a success. Now, I still say that, I can go either way, you know what I mean, whether you get married older, you get married younger, but it still is going to come down to making sure you have the right
Like,
person
mhm.
at no matter, you know what I mean, no matter what stage.
Right. Because, like with us, what I was going to get to, there have been times like where we was in a marriage and I was like, okay, this ain't going to work. So what happens, had I decided, okay, or we decided we was going to part ways, and now, you're saying, getting married, yeah, young is a good thing, but here it is, I got married and now I'm divorced. So now I done placed myself in a whole nother pool with all these kids and I'm divorced. And then somebody will say, well, child, that's because you shouldn't have got married. You should have waited a little bit. You, you know, um,
Well, I'm glad you spoke on that. So let me say this part to that. Me personally, right? So yes, you will fall into a different category, and yes, you will fall into a different category because I look at you now of a young lady, still young, 3 kids. Ooh, wait a minute. By that dude. Okay, I can live with that. Versus a young lady, 3 kids, 3 baby daddies. Eh, I might have to put that one to the side and see what the other one is like. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean by value. And that's what I mean by value. And that's what I was trying to point at earlier was what is your dating regimen like? because if you keep playing with the loaded gun, it's gonna go off. Sooner or later, it's gonna go off, and you're gonna find yourself in another category, wondering why you're in this category.
These men got a whole lot of categories. Man. They got a whole lot of categories. We
don't.
It's a lot of categories.
We got just as many categories as you guys have, just different standards of, and I don't mean standards like my standards higher than yours. Is what we're willing to deal with.
I think our standards are standard. Y'all's like you just said. Okay, so
there's no standard.
No. You just said just think about this for a minute. You said, okay, there's a woman, no kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Under 20. Then there's another woman, no kids, but she did the life thing and she's in her 30s, so she goes in another category. Then you have another one that, like me, married, divorced. I'm in the category. Then you have another one with 3 baby mamas. That's what I talk about. Y'all categories just keep going on and on and on and on. Where ours is, do he have a good job? Do he love God? Do he love his mama? You know, what does that look like? Like
right. So
our 3
with your 3 categories, right? What is a good job? McDonald's is a good job.
I mean, yeah, it is. He's the manager. You're absolutely right.
If he's not a manager,
no, but can he provide? And does he have a hustle?
If he's a front order cook, it's a good job. Why do we belittle a job? Period.
Okay.
Now, if you need a certain
like
amount
said,
of
to
money,
match, at least close to what, like where are we living at?
Now, see, stop right there, because that's what I mean when I say standards of what we're willing to accept or not. Because we have to match. Where that's not the case when it comes to, you don't have to match.
I say at least, no, what I did say is, at least match as far as close as possible. And I didn't say match how much I make.
And
just
regardless,
can you pay some bills?
When I say Apple, yes, I can pay a trash bill.
No, I said bills, not a bill.
I can pay a trash bill. I can pay a water bill. I might be able to pay something on the light bill. And see, that's what I mean, that it changes. I mean, it's when you try to go apples to apples.
So where are you living at? You can't pay half the rent. You can't pay the rent.
See,
because where are you staying now? Because you said you got a good job. So you should be able to pay rent.
Hold on. So there are places that the rent could be $400 or $500 a month. It might not be the greatest place in the world, but that's what we can afford.
Okay.
No, it's not okay because
because what I'm saying is then you need to date in your category of what you can afford.
See, and so I heard somebody say that before. Date in the category of what you can afford.
Right.
I'm dating in the category that I can afford, right? So you said I couldn't afford you because of that, right? So now you're saying that this man has to have this, and this, and this.
No, you said the man said he has to have.
You said date in my category.
Right.
So if I'm a front order cook,
right,
that can only pay water bill, gas bill, and a little bit on the electric bill, you're not in my category.
Right.
Right. So now that man that you're looking for, the so-called be in your category, guess what? You're not in his category.
Exactly. We're not in each other's category.
So again, your pool diminishes tremendously while mine stays huge.
Right. We've been said that. I agree with that. I don't. We say we agree with that completely.
Right. So I mean, that's why we're at where we're at, because when we set standards, that's what we
I'm frozen
over the place. Huh? What do you say, V? We must have lost her.
No, she's here. Can you hear us?
I think she's frozen.
She frozen?
No,
she ain't frozen. We saw that, but can you see us? Okay, apparently not.
Yeah, something's on out here.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay, there you go. Can you hear us now?
No, she out the loop.
Yeah, she out. We can't hear you. Okay, she gone.
Yeah, she lost.
All right.
So that's why I say, it may not be fair, but it is what it is.
Okay, Jazz came on. She said, "Wish public." My husband said some people can be more mature at a young age to marry, and that art depends on the partner, but how I understand why women have children younger. Okay. I don't know why it don't never. I think when he reaches it, when we're not actually on Facebook, it doesn't it doesn't go public or whatever. So you have to do it.
Come on here.
Do you want to come on and
Put
talk?
in the Facebook chat.
I have to try and do it this way.
All right.
I thought we was about to end.
Unless you want to say something real quick.
I mean, yeah, I'll bring it in real quick. Hold on. I gotta go to our email and send the link.
All right. But yeah, they were talking about maturity. A lot of times that plays a factor. And again, it's going to fall on with I think the man is going to choose what that has to be like for him.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's like it's everything depends on the men. Like they have the control. I'm not feeling all this control stuff. But
It's not control.
It is control.
It's not control.
It is.
It's not control.
Everything is kind of based off of.
Do I control you?
You can't control me. You try to. You can't.
There you go.
I ain't having it. I'm rebellious.
There she go. She's gonna have a rebellious nuts. Right?
See, y'all hear it on Facebook first, right? Y'all hear the violence that's going on.
I ain't saying I was gonna do it.
Y'all heard the violence. Y'all heard the violence.
So anyway.
I'm trying to tell her real quick to come on Restream. Jazz, can you hear me? I just picked the link out for Restream. You can come on that real quick before we end up. Before we end this, if you have anything to say, I'll give you a few minutes to try and log on. Matter of fact, I'm also going to text you too real quick to make sure to find out if you actually want to come on.
Any other questions? Anything you want to say?
As always, I love the conversation. Y'all do a great job, and y'all banter, baby, it's top tier. I love it. All I is some popcorn. It's like hers. I love it.
That's the whole point. Speaking of which, what size shirt?
She was trying to get at somebody.
What size shirt do you wear?
Large.
What, large? Okay.
Yeah.
Via's gonna be our winner because we don't got nobody coming over here.
So well, we got that. She got free merch and some other little basket.
I appreciate it. No, y'all really do. Y'all do a great job. I love the topics. I love the like I said, I love the band.
I love the clock back.
Cause Kel, you always got something to say.
Always
got something to say.
I'm gonna hold us down.
Always. Like
I love it. It's good. Mm-hmm.
All right, Jazz, come on now.
Right. I'm trying to I told her I don't know what she's doing.
I'm ready to go to bed.
We tired. Look. I was like, every time I get on here, I'm like, oh, I be looking tired. And I'm like always yawning. I'm like, but look, it is what it is. I be trying to work it out.
Well, it's about to be wintertime. Y'all could move it up a little bit if y'all want
That's
to.
What I'm thinking, maybe to 5. And then what we are thinking about doing is maybe just doing something during the week, but not have it live. We'll do something, we'll record it.
Like bring you in. Bring up a topic.
We'll talk about it.
We'll go back and forth and then post it.
And do it that way. And maybe we'll just start doing lives maybe once a month or twice a month. But we'll just do our topics ahead of time. Right. And do it that way. So I'm thinking maybe doing it that way just to switch it up a little bit. And then you know what? Start making it a little more exclusive. You want to come on, baby. You're gonna have to try to find a live or contact us so we'll get you in on that end. But since Jazz comes
on,
huh?
Y'all could do like a subscription,
right? Yeah. Like for all those who are watching now live,
if you get in review, now, you'll be good.
Please like.
Yeah, please like.
Please subscribe.
The YouTube
and please
channel.
Share.
Yeah, we need those to get up. I didn't want to. I know because we was talking about doing the TikTok and the Instagram and putting it out there. Just hopefully that'll help with traction. Um, but because the traction here, everybody keeps saying do Instagram and do TikTok to get the traction going. And I do see, like, I do have a little bit of traction on YouTube, like where there's people watching it. We just need
More.
to kind of push it out more on the algorithm. So we're gonna figure it out sooner or later. All right, Sheen, come on. As always, we thank you
Thank
for
you guys
being
so
our
much.
valued VIP.
Okay,
Miss VIP.
y'all have to send me the link through text. That link through Messenger, you know, it don't work for me.
I told you.
Okay.
I don't have Messenger.
All right.
So
So what I'll do is
working.
I'll send it out to you a little earlier than when we first started out.
Make sure you got it.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. We thank y'all tonight for coming on. We thank our VIP, V, as always, Jazz, Henry. We thank y'all for.
This?
Wait a minute. What's going on? Hold on. What's
Why
going
did
on?
these show?
Well, who are those? Hannibal, hi. Jazz and join. Wait a minute. Hold up. Who is all? We got a couple of people. What's going on?
Call. That's
okay. We got a couple of people that say hi. Who is Hannibal?
Okay.
Is that man?
I was not seeing his message. It's over here. It's on YouTube.
Okay, from YouTube.
He's trying to, he's messaging me on YouTube.
Okay.
If you message me on the, do the Facebook, or that's what I didn't do. I didn't send him the link to here.
Today, that's what it was.
Okay, that's my fault.
Okay.
That's John. That's my brother John.
Yeah, I said the other one. Okay.
That's my fault. Let me type here.
Yeah, so we had apparently some people.
We had some people on here.
Apparently. Okay, and Jazz, I don't know what happened. She went away. So I guess we'll catch up for next time. probably have to do her like I do you and send her the link ahead of time. Because for some reason she was on and then got back off. So as soon as this ends, Jazz, I can do the live where it's public. I don't understand why it doesn't go public from Restream to Facebook. I have to wait till we end it and then we're able to go. Oh, Jazz is on. She's right here.
Okay.
I think that's her right here.
Right here?
Yeah, cut her on. Here she go. Hey, Jay.
Hey, hello.
There you go. Real got you.
Hello.
Hey, baby. How you doing?
Hey.
Good.
It's our old
Good.
got for us.
All right, so what do you got?
Well, out of all the subjects I typically discuss, I would say this is the biggest gray area because, some people more faster than others. And a lot of things are situational. So, yeah.
Oh, you're saying that marrying young or waiting because of maturity?
Yeah.
Well, there's some people that are older and get married and still immature.
True. That say is a gray area too because of how people match. Because of the biggest thing is people. Like I know some married couples that actually still have their own houses, own room. Is like the only way they can function. That like they got to keep two separate houses and have their space. So, it's just kind of situation.
I think that would be like after a while, or you see that happens at the very beginning, that they got their own space, their own room, or is that after a while being married?
Well, see, I know people that will date and live in two different households and still keep those two different households when they're married. Like,
and what purpose would that be? She's saying that two people they get married, like they're separate, they're single men here. Then we get married. They have their own place. Both people keep their own place still, and they're married.
Well,
right?
I mean, that could be.
Are they living separately still at those separate places, or are they coexisting together at the new place together?
I mean, I think mainly it'll be like, oh, that person will just come stay over for like 2 days out the week, whatever. But they have to have their own space to stay married. But that's kind of going for on a tangent. Long story short, the biggest issue is you can't really differentiate the difference between loving someone and being in love with someone. That is ultimately what I think will determine the longevity.
I'm sorry. Did you catch all that?
Yeah, she was like, basically what she
There's
said
a-
is,
Just gotta repeat it.
I said there's a difference between loving someone and being in love with someone with these marriages. So that's why some people tend to give up because they aren't actually in love to the point of loving that person unconditionally. Because loving that person means without condition, not predicated upon, oh, I love you only if you pay my bills or if you provide for me. I love you if you stay a certain size, you know?
I kind
So
of disagree with that, and that's just my take on it. My take is loving someone with conditions. I love you in spite of, and that's the condition that I can deal with that.
now I think that's what she's getting at though.
She said
That
she
love,
said unconditional.
well, she said unconditional, but she's saying that love should cover all. Where you have people that are saying that, you know, they like the smoke and scream of what love is supposed to, you know, that whole, okay, love looks like this, but to actually put in the work to stay in love and to stay in a marriage, to make that thing work with this person when it irritates you. You know, do I love them past this little, he don't pick up his drawers, you know, they on the side or whatever, or, you know.
but I think standards are important. So I get what Daddy's saying, like to a certain degree, there should be some kind of, but I'm talking about the things that's outside the realm of that control. Like you can control overeating and not taking care of yourself because obviously I want you to be here as long as possible, right? So something like that you can't control. But if that person like got cancer or lost their job and their fault or something, like when people give up in those situations, that's why I'm like, you know.
Okay.
I see what you're saying.
Okay. Yeah. I'm on board with that one.
And again, that could probably fall back onto one of the things we talked about before is boundaries and having discussions of quote unquote deal breakers.
Right.
What you can put up with, what you can't put up.
I mean,
I think everybody has a limit.
Yeah, but something like that, like, okay, cancer or somebody getting sick. Like nobody has control over getting sick.
No. I mean, that was a broad stroke.
I know, but I'm saying I know somebody that actually went through that.
But like the other part, she said, like, I lose my job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That happens.
That happens. But if I keep losing my job because I go in with this attitude and being real ridiculous, give me 1 second. Somebody being ridiculous and just not, like you said, mature enough to know they got to get up. When it says be here at 7, you got to be here at 7. You always showing up at 7:30 and expect you're supposed and
think you still got
supposed to have a job. Then that comes to the realm of it's not so much of I didn't love you, it's boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
I can't keep putting up with that. So I mean, standards or whatnot. So it depends. I mean, I get it.
Okay. All right. Now that's all you had. How are you doing?
Hi.
I'm doing okay.
All right, that's good. So what we're gonna do is next time we make sure we send you out the link ahead of time, but coming on Restream will probably be the easiest because for some reason, like I was saying before, it doesn't. I don't know why it doesn't do the public on Facebook. I'll have to go back in like once the video has.
You did it one time. Yeah, you did it one time. You just gotta go back and hit them 3 dots and.
I did it, but I did that after the fact. I can never do it before. So yeah.
Yeah, you gotta go back to working. So
whenever you come home, if you can show me something different, then great. But I do thank y'all for coming on real quick.
Oh, I think he said he wanted to ask a question.
Oh, who? He did?
Jasmine.
You say you got a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I was one like I do like the topic that y'all do have, so I appreciate that as well. I'm gonna try to share it as much as I can. But I was wondering, like, we talking about unconditional love, and then I heard Mr. Vaughn, he's talking about you do have a certain level of conditions. But but I want to put this in terms of like we give a parent. A parent can't just unlove their kid. So when you get into a marriage, you can't just unlove your husband or unlove your wife because of what they got. I mean, when you take
If he's not
marriage,
the person you fell in love with.
when you take those vows, you do take that's a covenant. So you take whatever goes with them, you and God is supposed to come together to a person, heal that person, to build that person, to where that person can be what they're supposed to be, what you felt originally.
Okay, but what if they aren't who you fell in love with? People change and grow apart. So at that point, it's not the same person.
True. Now it could be an imposter or gaslighting, or if somebody could say something and then
Do the
that could be
opposite.
turned something else than what they originally was. Now, that's deceptive. So I would go with Mr. Vaughn on that. But I'm talking about like when you love somebody, you literally that means if they get their legs cut off in a car wreck, you're gonna love them. If they get burned in a fire, you're gonna love them. I mean, you're looking at their looks, but it's what's within their soul. So it's like
let me ask you this question.
But
so you're in a marriage, right? And your partner goes out and sleep with somebody else, and they keep doing it. You keep putting up with that because you love them so much?
Yeah.
So you're gonna
the reason why is because of prayer. Because they have to love themselves first. Because if they didn't love themselves, they wouldn't. They would honor the marriage. They would honor the covenant.
You said if.
He said numerous times.
My,
He's talking about just one
scenario,
Yeah, that means if you're doing it, that means I need to go to God more.
So my scenario is
I need to pray more. I need to pray harder.
You keep going to God, and they keep going to Frank.
And they keep going.
You keep going to God, and they keep going to Frank. You still gonna keep loving them the same?
Well, it varies. Say it varies. If I'm with somebody that like we don't have a family, probably if they just keep going along with it, I probably would say all it off. But if we got kids, that's I'm stuck. The reason why I'm gonna stay stuck with them because I want my kids to have their both parents, mother and father together. I want them to see that structure.
So even if that
the structure that you're showing them is a broken structure.
Right, it's broken. It's dysfunctional. So you would rather them be in a dysfunctional, growing up in a dysfunctional, unloving, uncaring marriage than to have them separate and still be able to foster them to have healthy relationships apart.
Hey, y'all put it. I would definitely go with what y'all saying. It makes.
I mean, because most people pretty much what he's saying is because a lot of people, when that person cheats, they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna just go get my lick back," but ultimately, that just doesn't work forever. So.
Right.
What she said?
About lick back, so try and get back at the person.
So go out and sleep with somebody too?
But also, but it comes to a point where, like, when you do pick that person for you, you gotta know if that person, because over time, you gonna know if that person has those traits. I mean, let's say gaslight you.
No, you're not.
No, because like if you meet somebody first, yeah, they can throw you for a loop, but over time, that veil comes off, and you find the real person for what they really about.
Okay, so that's gonna be our next one.
Yeah, because I wouldn't say that because
date before you get married. Like, when do you feel like, okay, you know the person? So that's going to be our next one next week. Like, what is the timeline? How long should you be dating this person before you know that they're the right person? Like, is there a timeline? How much time? Because you don't know. You could be with them 6 months and, okay, yeah, this is the one. And then a year later, you'd be like, okay, this ain't the same person. So we're going to find out. We're going to dive into that some more next week. So hold that for next week. Come with your questions, come with your people, and we will get into that some more And I thank y'all so much for coming on tonight. I do appreciate it.
All right.
This is
All right,
another
thank y'all.
episode of Recipe to Chivalry, and I am Quintella, and we will see y'all next week. We love you.
Love you. Thank you very much.
I don't see how you fell for that.